Good morning, YouTube. This is Gabe coming back at you again with another video here at Trucking Life. Oh man, we've been having these issues with these check engine lights, and initially it was giving me dozer block injector codes. I actually had a extra dozer block there from when I replaced it back in January, where it ended up not being the issue. So I saved it. I didn't give it back to Freightliner as a core. We popped that bad boy in there in a rest area, but it was still giving us issues. And I went ahead and pulled up the codes, and we're going to go through the troubleshooting guide and try to figure this out together. Stay tuned, guys.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Okay, so we're going to do some probing here. On this wire right here, this is your electronic dosing valve right here. And we're going to probe it here. So based on the troubleshooting guide, I'll show you guys it on screen right now so you guys can see what I'm doing. It says right here that if 34825 and 34715 are active, which in my case they are, it says repair circuit between pin 64 and pin 2. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to go ahead and probe it. So right here we're going to go on pin number 2. Right there. Basically that would be considered an open circuit the way you guys see the multimeter right there right now. Put it so you guys can see it. This one's been driving me crazy, but I think we may have found the problem here. Right? So that would be considered an open circuit right there. When you guys hear the beeping, you guys see that green light right there, that means that there's continuity. That means that the wires are touching. So what we're testing for is an open circuit right here. So these are numbered. I'll show you guys a diagram as well so I know which one's 64. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna go to pin 64. And as you guys can see, there's no continuity. But if we go to pin 65, we get continuity. So 64, no continuity. 65, we got continuity. All right, so here we have our new one, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna probe pin 64 and pin number 2 right here on the same exact connector. So we're gonna do, they're actually numbered like here on the corner. I know you guys can't see it, but I'm trying to figure out which one it is. Pin 2. Okay, pin 2. Right? Remember that pin 2 and 64 on the one that's on the truck wasn't giving us no continuity. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to pin 64 here. They're little numbers right there. Oh, no wonder it's not giving me continuity. These are unplugged. I had to get these little alligator clips and then these little ones, because these normal ones don't fit in there. You need something like that. Okay, so now we're gonna go to pin number 2, which was, where is it? That one. So pin 2 and pin 64 should have continuity. And you guys can see right there we have continuity. Remember on that old one that I showed you guys right now, we still had it on pin 2 and we went to pin 65 and we were getting continuity. Right there I have it connected and there's no continuity. So basically what that's telling me right there, guys, is that those 2 wires are shorted. In the wire harness, we were getting these codes for the dozer the dozer block, which is what controls the injection on the 7th injector behind the turbo, to be able to allow us to regen. And it was giving me check engine lights, and they were like turning off. I actually went ahead and stopped at the shop, but I didn't film any of it because I was under pressure. I had a load, and like I had to get going. But I like cleaned all my battery grounds, cleaned all my positive cables. I took the actual this piece off the truck and I cleaned it real good, and it looked like if it started working again, but the check engine light kept on coming back on. And with these troubleshooting guys, you guys just kind of have to follow it and follow your kind of your intuition, I guess you could say. But this one had me stressed out because I was like, man, that wire harness right there is only maybe like, when I edit it, I'll put the exact date on it, but I think it's like four years or whatever. So I have no idea. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and replace that wiring harness with this new one that we got right here. And once we have that old wiring harness off, I'm going to tear that bad boy apart to see exactly where it is that it's shorted out. But that's definitely our problem right there, is that there's no continuity on pin 64, and there shouldn't be continuity on 65. And that was one of the main reasons on why I purchased the wiring harness, because I figured A, we might need it, and B, it'll give us a reference point to check, you know. So the new one is a lot more likely to be good to go. Not to say that some of these parts sometimes don't come out defective, but I figured I'll probe this one first, and then we'll see what the one in the truck does. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to it, guys. One thing that's very, very important, guys, anytime that you guys are dealing with wiring issues or anything like that, when you guys gotta unplug sensors, you know, maybe not necessarily a sensor, like if it's a turbo boost sensor, for example, in this case that it's the dozer block, you can unplug it with the truck off, but you don't want to unplug your MCM, that 120-bit connector, without unplugging your battery. So make sure you got all your grounds and positives off the battery, because when you plug it, even though the truck's keyed off, that ECM is still getting a little bit of juice, so you don't want to short anything out once you pull it off. But I just figured I'd let you guys know that, okay? All right, guys, wanted to give you a little bit of an update. So we're working on just getting the wire harness out. We got most of it out right here. Just got to get through all this nightmare of wires, and there's another wire that goes all the way around over there. There's another sensor right there. I wanted to film it for you guys, but I don't have a tripod, and like anywhere metal here so I can click it on here too wasn't really going to give you a good picture. So I'll just give you guys updates. It's just changing the wire harness. It's pretty much just following the same pattern as the way the other one was. You know, a big thing that helps, if you guys never done this before, guys, just take a picture. Take a couple of pictures, so that if you don't remember anything or whatever, you could just always go back to the picture. Or what you could do is, like all these connectors or whatever, just label them. Get yourself a piece of tape and just, for example, number 1, then you get the one that goes there, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, so on and so forth. So that whenever you're going to put it back together, you don't have to be guesstimating if it's the right one or whatever. But most of these connectors are one-way connectors, meaning that even if it looks the same, for example, like this one right here is a 2-pin, and that one right there is a 2-pin, but they have like a groove. It won't let you put it in the wrong way. Like even if you try to put the one that goes here over here, it's not going to let you snap it in there. I mean, you'll pretty much have to break it to get it in to go in. They're all one way. So that's an easy way that you guys can do it. If you guys are not too sure or whatever, if you forget or whatever, just label them, and that'll be, I've done this one particularly before, so you know, by memory I kind of know where everything goes already. But if you're a person that's never done it before, those would be my recommendations. Take a picture, and if you want to even take a, you know, it'll take a little longer, you know, by labeling it with masking tape or whatever, but then when you're putting it back together, it'll be easy, because all you got to do is just follow the numbers, right? But I'll give you guys a full update once we have it back on, and then we'll get on the computer and we'll see if those codes went away. Another suggestion I have for you guys, this is what I do. I usually tape up all my sensors or my wire harness, you know, because when you're feeding it in there, you don't want to get any dirt and stuff like that inside the connectors and stuff. So I usually tape everything, because while you're, I mean, you gotta like feed it in here and loop it around stuff, you know, and there's dirt, you know, like it's gonna get crap inside there or whatever. So I usually take all that stuff out, and then once I'm gonna connect it, I'll hit this up right here with some electronic cleaner, like all my sensors, all, you know, and then we'll connect everything. But It's more true in the case because I'm working around dirt, but even if you weren't working around dirt, the engine has debris on it, you know what I mean? So that's usually what I do is I'll tape up all my ends and everything so that whenever I'm feeding everything through, I don't have to worry about dirt getting in there. Here's my wire harness. See if you guys can catch the problem. We've got a rip wire right here, right there. This wire right here, guys, is my pin 64. As you guys can see there, when I took it apart, only one of those little strands was still together. So that's why it was intermediate, because it wasn't completely cut. Now it is, but it wasn't. And I think that whenever this piece goes on it, it was rubbing against it, because this little part right here wasn't taped up. The tape only went up to like about there. So I took the new one off and I went ahead and put a shitload of tape right here so that doesn't happen again. But all these pins right here, the ones that are tore up, I went ahead and folded it up over here, and those were the pins that were giving me problems. This was 62, 64, and 65. They're all the ones that are shafted. So my theory is that one of these ones was connected and maybe it was like touching, they were like rubbing together, you know what I mean? Because look at this one over here too. Look, that one's tore up as well. See, it wasn't completely tore up, but it was just enough to where it was touching together and shorting out together. Now, in theory, I can fix this by cutting it and soldering it together, guys. But due to the fact that it's a pain in the rear end of ass to get it out, and I already bought a new one. The new one cost me $430. I'm just gonna go ahead and replace it because I don't know if there's maybe any other sections that might be like that, and what I'm saying, guys, is that it would take me a lot longer to take all of it apart and inspect it rather than just changing it. So I'm just going to change it. A lot of times what I've done before with these wiring harnesses before is I'll throw the wiring harness away, but I'll clip all the connectors away, because sometimes maybe like these go bad or whatever, and you could just splice it into the new one or whatever. But that definitely is confirmed our issue right there. This bad boy right here is pin 64, and that's what was giving us our dozer block problems, which was this sensor right here, which was keeping us from being able to regen and everything. This problem right here, guys, was son of a biscuits with grits, man. Holy smokes. It broke the brain a little bit, because, it's not that I didn't know how to do it, it's just that I didn't have the time. Right now I'm at the house, I'm not under a load no more. Thank goodness that we made it, to the house and we were able to deliver our load. And because with things like this, it's just tedious, you got to be probing stuff. And once I was able to get it off, then I was able to go ahead and confirm that that's the problem. But that makes me very, very happy, because I really, really, really thought that the issue was going to be the MCM, because it was so intermediate. I mean, it's happened to me before, that's what I'm saying. But thank goodness that wasn't the case, because that MCM is $1,400 and $500 programming. And I'm a broke truck driver just like everybody else is right now, you know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that this was the issue. And not only am I'm not happy about it being an issue, period, right? Because it's costing us money. But sometimes with electrical circuits, you kind of have that little, doubt in the back of your mind. But with that right there, it's confirmed. It's as clear as day. It's a broken wire. That was definitely the cause of our issue. So I'm gonna go ahead and put everything back together on this truck right here, and then I'll give you guys my final thoughts and share with you guys a couple of extra things that I found. All right, guys, here's the finished product. What a pain in the butt, man. It's just like going through loops and making sure everything's connected. We got the ECM down there. Let's see if I can give you guys some light. Right there, the connector. Got to route it through here. And it goes all the way over there. Then we have another one right here. Little connector there. But it got dark right now. I'll finish up with you guys. We'll go ahead and turn it on, and we'll see what it does. All right, guys, so we went through that troubleshooting procedure. Man, oh man, I'm telling you guys, I am so happy that it ended up being that wiring harness. Sometimes with these electrical issues, they're not clear as day. Like for example, sometimes you'll have a wire that's still good all the way through, like visually looking at it through the outside, but on the inside it's corroded or whatever. But with that wire being broken the way it was, that's definitely our issue. I went ahead and keyed on the truck right now, and no more check engine lights. Everything's running good. So that was definitely our issue. So if you guys are having any electrical issues, um, whether that be this same code that it gave me or any other electrical codes whenever it comes out as an open circuit, that's pretty much going to be pretty much your troubleshooting procedure right there. I mean, that can even be on a newer truck or a different engine or whatever. It's, everything feeds back into the MCM, so or the ACM or whatever they call it, ECM computer, depending on whatever engine you get, you know what I mean? So that's basically the way you do it. The only thing would probably change it would be it might just be a different pin, instead of being pin 64, like in our case, it might be pin number 2 and pin number 4 on whatever sensor it goes to or whatever. But it's just tedious, having to go with your multimeter and checking it and all that stuff. But if any of you guys are having problems with this particular code, that's the troubleshooting procedure that you can go through. I mean, lucky for me, the problem was just right there where it connects to. But if I hadn't seen a obvious issue right there where I took it apart, I would have just went along all the way in the harness. Another way to check it too is, in this particular case, it showed us that it had no continuity, meaning we had an open circuit, right? But let's just say it would have shown us continuity, right? That it is beeping on us, meaning that the wire's connected. What I would have done then is I would have left the probe connected on each side. Then you massage the wiring harness. You start wiggling the wiring harness or whatever to see if you lose continuity, because a lot of times it might just be a wire that's starting to fray and get cut. And whenever you reach that section, let's just say um, in this section right here, you lose continuity. Well, now you know that your problem is more than likely in that area. So you go ahead and take the shielding off the wire, the what's it called? The trying to think here. The wire loom. Take the wire loom off, take the tape off or whatever, and then you can visually check your wires right there. But that's another way of doing it if you're showing continuity when you do check it. It's especially when it's intermittent, so. But anyhow, guys, that's what I have for you guys today. I hope that this video helps somebody out. If you guys like the video, consider subscribing. Feel free to comment, share the video, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.